Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything, starring your host with the most, Mr. Greg, broadcasting to you from Mr. Greg's top secret undisclosed broadcasting location with this week's episode. Our first question comes to us from Brad Miller of San Pedro, California. Brad asks, Mr. Greg, what with the current shortage as well as inflated prices of bathroom tissue these days, what alternatives do you recommend for toilet paper in my favorite teacher's house after graduation? Well, Brad, I'm glad you asked this very important question. However, while you can use alternatives such as spools of fishing line or yarn, there unfortunately is no replacement for the delicate fibers that hold the bathroom tissue together. You simply cannot replace that moment when the recipient of said toilet papered house reaches for that last hanging piece only to find it rips and then they must still acquire a ladder to get on the roof. Not to mention that you should concern yourself whilst in your search for an adequate replacement for toilet paper for one that is environmentally friendly as well as not harmful to animals if it gets into local waterways. Our second question comes from Daniel Sutters of Huntington Beach. Daniel asks, Mr. Greg, why do you have so many earrings? Earrings are for girls and guys stuck in the 80s. Well, Daniel, I'm glad you asked this very important question. The jewelry adorning Mr. Greg's head is made of a space-age aircraft-grade aluminum that which not only allows Mr. Greg to shield Mr. Greg's thoughts from the many government-employed predatory telepaths out there, but in doing so, doesn't give Mr. Greg an unsightly hat head. Our third question comes from Susie Walker of Fullerton, California. Susie asks, Mr. Greg, why do you have a firefox tattoo on your arm? Well, Susie, I'd like to answer your question with a question of my own. Why is it that you didn't think to have Mr. Greg sign a non-disclosure agreement before attempting to bribe Mr. Greg to sign your report card so that your parents wouldn't find out you were cutting class? Well, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today, folks. If you have a question of your own, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And remember, Mr. Greg has all the answers, so ask me anything. Thank you for watching another episode of Ask Me Anything with your host with the most, Mr. Greg, broadcasting to you from Mr. Greg's top secret undisclosed broadcasting location. Let's start this week's song. This week's song is Jason Aldean's The Truth. We're going to get to the strumming of the chords in just a few, but if you recall from all other videos, we're going to check our tuning first and make sure that's all good to go. As you recall from all other videos, the G string at the 2nd fret produces the same A note as your open A string. The C string at the 5th fret produces the same A note as your open A string. And your C string at the 4th fret produces the same E note as your open E string. Now if that sounds good, skip over to the strumming and chord section, and otherwise we'll go ahead and get you guys tuned right now. This is how your G string should sound. Your C string. Your E string. And your A string. The song uses some pretty basic chords. It's got your G, your C, a D, and you'll notice that I bar it in the video, an E minor, and an A minor. Now the strumming for the song might be a little bit new for some of you guys, and I want to go over that. So if you look at the suggested strumming, it's 4 elements per measure per chord. Okay, and what I mean by elements is the groupings of down and ups. So your first element is down, your second element is down, your third element is down up, and your fourth element is down down. So if you put it together, you get down, 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 up, down, down. So if we grab like a G chord, that's down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. Slower, it sounds like down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. Okay? Every chord in the body of the song gets one full strum pattern, with the exception of chords that share a measure. And what I mean by that is if you look below where it says suggested strumming on the handout, you get something that says split measures. And if you look at that, it's a G with 2 downs over it, an X which is a left-handed dead note with an up over it, a D with an up and a down, down over it. So if you look at, for instance, the first line of the chorus where it's just don't tell them I've gone crazy, it's down, 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 down. Okay, so again that's down, down, up, up, down, down. See how I switched to the D in the middle of that? So slower, it's down, down, up, down, down. Okay? Takes a little while to get used to it, but go ahead and make sure that you're saying the strum pattern, and feel free to slow it way, way, way down so that you get it perfect, and then gradually speed it up and you'll get it no problem. Okay? Other than that, that's pretty much it. So let's get to the tune. Jason Aldean's The Truth. Tell 'em I'm out on vacation. Say I went to visit friends. But you ain't heard the scene from me in quite a while. When they ask you where I've been, tell 'em I'm out on the West Coast where it don't ever rain. I'm probably doing fine. Just don't tell 'em I've gone crazy, that I'm still strung out over you. Tell 'em anything you want to, just don't tell 'em all the truth. Don't tell 'em all the truth. Tell 'em I'm out in Vegas, blowing every dollar I ever made. Tell 'em that I must be into something bad for me, 'cause I sure lost a lot of weight. Tell 'em I'm out on the road with some rock and roll band, looking like a gypsy can. Just don't tell 'em I've gone crazy, that I'm still strung out over you. Tell 'em anything you want to, just don't tell 'em all the truth. Don't tell 'em all the truth. The truth is that I'm asking you to lie. We both know that that ain't right. If you ever love me, please have some mercy on me. Tell 'em anything you want to, just don't tell 'em all the truth. Don't tell 'em all the truth. I still need you. Yeah, that's the truth. Still love you. Baby, that's the truth. Alright guys, Jason Aldean's The Truth. See you next week.